Lights.
Okay. Looks like we're all set, so I will open up the public meeting for Tuesday, January 11th. And first item on the agenda is I will open up the public hearing at 7:01 for the warrant article, which had a slight change in wording, so I'll read that. This warrant article comes to this public hearing in amended form. The language has been simplified, but it has the same intent as the published verbiage, which is the Newton Planning Board will hold a public hearing on the proposed warrant article, quote, shall the voters of Newton authorize the planning board to create and annually update a CIP, capital improvement program, in accordance with New Hampshire RSA 674:5 as proposed by the Newton Planning Board. I'll invite the public for any input. Hearing none and seeing none through Zoom. Confirm that for me, Jim. Okay. And are there
I'll
any
make a
questions?
motion to accept it,
Recommend it.
recommend it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
So the motion by
Yeah.
Bob, second by Annie, and because we're partially in Zoom, and more importantly, because we all have masks on, all the votes are going to be roll, and if you could, if you vote yes,
Point of
just
order, Mr. Chair?
give a thumb, yes.
I don't think that we took roll of who's here since we're by Zoom,
you.
and also appointing
Yes,
possibly
thank you.
somebody.
So before we do that, in place of, I'm not used to having this many people, in place of Mr. White, I'm going to appoint Bob Marchand
Yep.
as a voting member. And Ziggy, glad to see you here tonight. Thank you very much, and you're more than welcome, please, to participate in any conversations, deliberations. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. And go ahead and call the...
You want to do, you started to say about thumbs
Oh,
up.
just to help it out, particularly with the Zoom and stuff, if you vote yes, just give a thumbs up when you do the roll.
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy?
Aye.
Mr. Marchand?
Aye.
Mr. Moran?
Aye.
Ms. Collier?
Aye.
Mr. Foot?
Aye.
Would you like a motion to place the question on the official ballot?
Yes, that one passed unanimously. Okay.
Yep.
And could I have your motion to place this warrant article on the ballot?
So move.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy?
Aye.
Mr. Marchand?
Aye.
Mr. Moran?
Aye.
Ms. Collier?
Aye.
Mr. Foot?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Okay, thank you. I'll close the public hearing on the proposed warrant article. Next order of business, Mary DiStefano of Newton, New Hampshire requests a public hearing for a home-based business vending machine, 6 West Main Street, Newton, New Hampshire. The property is referenced as tax map 6, block 14, lot 1. And I'm going to start off actually with Jen. If you have any comments on this, please.
Sure. I do think that the application is complete. Well, it does actually seem to qualify more for your home occupation level of application. I understand, and the applicant can confirm this, that she wants to have it be a home-based business so that she can have vehicles at her site, or it has to do with her state licensing. I will say a little unusual on this application that you guys may not have seen is the request for the waiver from what is effectively the entire requirement for a minor approval under your policies and procedures. While that's a little bit unusual, given that the business is really just going to be an office use, it does seem a reasonable waiver to grant, given the information that has been provided. but that's ultimately the planning board's decision.
Okay. Just a clarification for me, my understanding is that the only purpose of this applying for the business is so that she can register vehicles under the name of
And
the business at the
also-
location. I know we've seen that come across before for that type of business. The state requires a physical location to reference. Okay,
And like, I would recommend hearing from the applicant on
yep, that's
that
next.
specifically, but that is my understanding.
Okay. So it seems like the application is complete. And if there's no question on that, could I have a motion to accept jurisdiction, please?
I'll make a motion to accept jurisdiction.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
And call
Mr.
the-
Andrews,
Aye.
Ms. White,
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy,
Aye.
Mr. Marchand,
Aye.
Mr. Moran,
Aye.
Ms. Collier,
Aye.
Mr. Foote.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. DeStefano, if I'm getting that right.
Yes.
Are you with us? Okay, I hear a voice.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, could you describe briefly what your intentions are through this application, please?
So I've purchased 5 vending machines that I'll be, starting a small business and placing probably throughout southern New Hampshire. I haven't established the locations yet, but I would need this permit to open a bank account and do things like that. Probably if I want to transfer over my automobile to the business also, I would need this approval.
Okay,
I'm not sure if that totally answers your question, or
I think it does. Are there any questions from the board, clarification? Okay, so just quick for myself. So it sounds like in what you say here, the property will not used to house the business. It's strictly for administrative and licensing purposes.
correct.
Okay?
Right. Mr. Chair, may I ask a question? This is Barbara.
Yes, Barbara, go ahead, please.
The applicant has said she received authorization from the landlord to use her address for the business. Does the board have that in writing somewhere for the packet for the packet of information for the file?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Very good question. I had forgot that one.
We do have the landlord's permission in writing.
Yes, we do.
It's
Okay.
just not part of our packet.
It's actually the landlord signed the application.
Oh, a signature of owner?
Excuse me?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I see that.
Signature applicant, signature owner. Got it.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay. I guess that,
so it's not really owner of the business, it's owner of the
for the building.
location.
Yeah,
Right.
which is what this is based on. Yeah, okay.
So
Mike, I
question,
do have,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jen, real quick.
yeah, just my quick question. It's not really a question. It's just for the planning board. Any motion you have for approval on this, I would put a condition that the vending machines are not to be stored on the site, given that that's what's being presented.
Thank you.
Question?
I'll go over here first to
Sorry.
Bob.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, we normally have hours of operation. I don't know if it matters in this case, or if we need to, what Ms. Stefano would like.
Actually have that on the list.
You have that what?
I have that on the list to find out.
Okay. Well, that's a question, because what I read is the business will not be at the location. So, Mr. DeStefano, am I pronouncing that right?
Di Stefano,
DeStefano. Okay, thank you.
yes.
So just to reiterate, you don't plan on having the business at the house, so then there would be no business hours, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, the the machines are currently like in a storage facility in New York. And then when I get the locations, then they deliver them from the facility to the location.
Okay.
So, you know, they wouldn't be here at all at any point.
Okay.
Can I follow up on that?
And like the hours of the business, it's kind of hard to say because I guess it depends where the machines will end up.
So,
You know, and what the business hours are at that location.
so at the physical address in Newton, you're not like restocking shipments of whatever items you're placing in the
No.
vending machines? It's strictly
No.
administrative services internal to the house or residence?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, yes.
That's what I was going to ask. Mary, what is it that you put in your vending machines? Is it food?
Oh, yeah, food, like healthy snack options. You know, a little not like typical like soda and potato chips and candy bars. It's more like Luna bars and, you know, those type of bars, Cliff
Yep.
bars.
No,
you know,
I
veggie
get it. And you're
straws.
gonna have a warehouse set up somewhere else, you're saying, to keep that all stocked there and just pick it up and then bring it?
Yeah, I mean, I may do that, but I think really what will happen is I'll be buying the items and probably just going and stocking as I get them.
Okay.
I'm not really planning on holding a lot of product. Because these
Okay, I think what we're trying to get
tend
to
not
is,
have a long shelf life either.
okay, I think what we're trying to get to is, will you be storing any product at your house?
If I did, it would not be that much. Maybe a couple of cartons of snacks, possibly.
Okay?
So where at the house would those be stored?
So I have, I'm like kind of trying to make a little area in my living room that's going to be like kind of my designated workspace. So, you know, I'm just going to have like a little desk and, you know, in a little area I can put some, you know, some boxes of the snacks if I need to. But I'm not really planning on doing that, you know, as far as buying in bulk and, you know, buying ahead.
I don't think that's going to be an issue of her getting a delivery of a couple cartons. of
Right, but
snacks.
we're just having to get to, because it will be stocked there, we may have to have a condition to meet the ordinance of no outside storage. So I would say
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have access to outside storage here.
Right. That's just part of our ordinance for the home-based business. is that
Okay,
It can't be
yeah.
outside, so then at least that
Okay.
allows you to, if you have a certain amount, you can keep it inside, and you won't run afoul of any other aspects of the ordinance.
So I have a question of Jen. Is it okay to just have it kind of open without having hours, or is that ill-advised?
Given the type of business, you could certainly put in a note that, you know, deliveries shouldn't be happening at, we'll say, odd hours. I think it's okay. You might want to acknowledge it, or it might be easier to, for the applicant to be able to say, you know, your hours of operation will be whatever you consider your work hours may typically be, just so that it's on the books. If that's 7 a.m. to maybe 9 p.m., because you may work some of those hours. I would just put it on with the approval.
I get up and do her
Okay.
books at 1 in the morning.
Right.
As far as the hours, it's a vending business that she can go to the locations wherever they are at any time, whether it's a Sunday morning, a Monday night, or Saturday afternoon. So we really can't restrict the hours. If she wants to go to work at 10 o'clock to go reload her machine somewhere else, that's totally up to her.
And that's, Mr.
It's an
Stefano,
off-
that's
it's a really
what we,
off-site business.
I'm sorry, that's what we really try to do, is to grant as fully as we can within the ordinance so that you're not restricted in any way. So we're just exploring things that basically are in your interest, not to, not to avoid your having to come back here or to have any altercations or anything like that. We're trying to just be very clear. We're not trying to be
Okay.
obstructionist, just so you know.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So what's the board's?
I mean, another thing, I could do,
So,
once I secure the locations, I could give you the hours of facilities where they end up.
No, that's not necessary. That doesn't fall under our purview here. I just want to poll the board and ask you, Jen, too, do we see any need to pursue this hours? Because all I can see that would apply to would be some type of delivery. And we've seen just particularly, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a lot. We've just seen through the holiday season that FedEx guys, they show up who knows when.
Yeah, I will say that your actual ordinance does not specify the need to absolutely have hours of operation. It's usually a very convenient thing to have, which is why it's on the checklist. But you don't necessarily have to have hours of operation.
Okay.
You might want to just put in your note in any motion of an approval that the board understands that this business may operate at any time but should not be impactful to the neighborhood. So that way you're saying that you acknowledge that yes, it's going to occur whenever it is convenient to the applicant, and that's fine. But as long as it's not impacting the neighborhood, then it's meeting the intent of the ordinance.
Okay. I think that sounds good, because I don't want to be limiting her to 6 vending machines. You may want to grow and have 100.
Right.
And with our big thing is we don't want you, like Jen said, impacting the neighborhood.
Yes, yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
Personally, I'm reading her reason for request. She covers herself very well, that we can just cite that and say that there is no on-site operations.
I understand that, but then we've just found out that she will be possibly storing. So this is so it doesn't come back to haunt us. So do you have enough wording from the not impacting the neighbors, Jim, that you could throw something back at us?
Maybe one of the members has a suggestion?
Do you have a suggestion?
Yes, just,
what I was going to say is I make a recommendation to approve this, with the exception that she has to come back to the board if she decides that she wants to store food at her house of quantity, because then the health inspector would have to get involved. But other than that, she's only using it for an office. She's going to be, from what she said, picking up all her stuff. So if she brought anything back, it might be only the 1 or 2 boxes like she's talking about in a vehicle that didn't fit in a machine here or there. So, I mean, I don't see any problem with it. Basically, it's phone calls and whatever, and the fact that she's using that address for the registrations for her vehicles.
Well,
But
I
if
hope
there's,
she's gonna
if
be
there's
counting
any
on
other
it.
changes than that, then she needs to come back to the board to seek a, what's the word I'm looking for? An amendment.
I think we've already ascertained that she's going to be storing product at the site, and that gets taken care of by it can't be stored outside. I believe we know that there's a possibility she's going to get deliveries at the site. So I think the easiest way to handle that with the least amount of impact on her and the protection of the town is that the delivery, as Jen said, the deliveries don't, it does not impact negatively the neighbors. At least that
Yeah,
takes care of that.
in this form of business, though, generally you don't get those food deliveries delivered to your house. You have to pick
Understood.
them up.
But if we don't have it in there, she can't get any. Jim, read what you, through what Jim.
Okay, first of all, by the way, you still have, you have to do the waiver before you can do the approval.
What?
Oh, that's right.
She requested a waiver from section,
Did I lose that?
I don't see that.
it's from the
10D4.
requirement to do the site plan. Where she has an apartment, she doesn't have the information on where the septic is, the well is. There's no
Okay.
parking for clients. It should be on a separate sheet. It may be the last.
I don't have any waiver requests here, so that's the first I knew about it.
It's this one.
Yeah.
Okay, just the fact that it's not checked. Okay.
Oh, this whole thing is the waiver, request for waiver.
And it's actually up on the screen.
Yeah. That is.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So that would be a motion to waive section,
To grant the waiver.
grant the waiver as requested.
Second. Oh,
I can't make a motion.
oh, sorry. I'll make a motion to grant the waiver.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion on that?
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy?
Aye.
Mr. Marchand?
Aye.
Mr. Moran?
Aye.
Ms. Collier?
Aye.
Mr. Foot?
Aye.
Okay. I have 5 conditions.
5, okay.
Well, first is the boilerplate, obtain all local and state permits. I'm not certain what may be applicable. The hours of operation shall not impact the neighborhood. I think that's probably the cleanest way of phrasing it.
We say negatively impact?
Shall not,
I actually do have I have a suggestion for that.
Okay, go ahead.
It's actually from your ordinance, that the hours of operation will not significantly detract from the quality of the neighborhood.
That says it.
Sure.
I'll have to get that off the tape.
Hours of operation will not significantly detract.
From the quality of the neighborhood.
From the
And that's in
quality-
the purpose statement of this
Quality of
ordinance,
neighborhood, yeah.
actually.
I like that because it comes right from our board, okay,
It's more eloquently worded than
yes,
what we came up
I
with.
try.
thanks.
Okay. All business shall take place inside the apartment or off property. No outdoor storage of business-related materials is permitted, and discarded products shall not be disposed of at the transfer station.
Oh, good
That's
one.
that's a standard we have to, yes. Okay.
Those are all conditions consequent.
So, Mary, did you hear those conditions?
Yes,
And do they sound like you can work with them?
yes, they do.
Okay,
Okay, then I'd like to make a motion that we approve this permit with the stated conditions.
I'll second it.
This is Barbara, second, okay.
okay. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so any further discussion?
Number 10 on the checklist is the building housing the home occupation shall meet all applicable building and fire codes. This building is owned by Sean Scott. She's renting a room there. Does the fire department have to go over and do one of those safety checks? Is she moving into a building that doesn't have smoke detectors, heat detectors, carbon monoxide? What's,
I don't think that has anything to do with,
Yeah, just give up that fight, okay? Because we never win that one.
excuse me?
no, if this was a
that one.
business operating out of there.
They don't do inspections.
Larry,
No, it's a business
Questions
going
go
into
through me.
It's a business going into a private home. How do I know this person, he might be the greatest guy in the world, Sean Scott, but is this house adequate without an inspection? Because it
Okay.
says, somebody checked off the block, number 10, saying,
is
you
this,
know, she'll
so,
meet.
just to
That's all I'm
clarify
asking.
for me, are you concerned from the business or from somebody living in an apartment there.
Well, that's one thing. Somebody's moving a business into a private home that they don't own. I mean, I've been to a few of the meetings, and somebody usually has a home-based business in their own house. This is a stranger having
Yeah.
a business in somebody else's house, and I just want them to be safe if they're in there. But that could just be me.
On the condition where state and local,
Yeah,
I would like to add to that, including but not limited to local fire, health, and safety?
Yeah, okay.
Is that the
Do
correct
you
term?
want
My
to
thing
add
was,
the
yeah, the safety, the
boilerplate?
fire, you know.
One about this business shall not be open to the public prior to a life safety inspection being performed by the fire department and code enforcement officer.
Well, it's never going to be open to the public at her house.
You have a point.
At the house, so I don't,
I don't think we need the standard one. I think yours is all applicable.
yeah, at least that will allow her to check in
Yeah.
with the fire department, and they can say, yes, we need to be involved, or no, we don't.
Okay, I'll accept that amendment.
Thank you. You got that?
Yeah.
We have a motion to second. Any further discussion on that?
And one other thing, on these home-based businesses, I don't seem to, fire department doesn't seem to know who to go to find out a list of the home-based business. Heaven forbid there's a fire there. We have a computer-based fire system that you enter in. It's a gas station, they got this chemical.
Right.
This house is having this business. Somebody's got to take the responsibility of having a home-based business listing, like for that plan that Annie has, the capital improvement, what's here, what's there. That's, I don't know.
I would like to put that, I think that's a good idea, and maybe we'll bring it up on a further date, because that sounds like a good discussion to have between the fire department and this board on what our definition is of home-based businesses.
Okay.
Does anything that would be in that require that type of inspection? And then at least we would know that, because our level of the home-based businesses is they're designed to be a very low impact. However, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be
I
inspected.
think that's covered under the first condition.
For this, yes, I'm talking about, this is outside of this.
Well, I guess,
Just in
good for
general,
further
since
discussion.
we're creating another home-based business,
Yeah.
somebody should have a listing of them that's available to the town, for the health officer, for the planning board, to say, hey, there's three, like we've had conversations, there's 3 or 4 gun places in town. People like to know a listing.
Okay? That doesn't fall into this right now, but we'll have
Kind of
that
an
as well.
asterisk.
Okay, go ahead and call the roll, please, Jim.
Mr. Andrews?
As we
Aye.
don't have one of those.
Ms.
already.
White?
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy?
Aye.
Mr. Marshon?
Aye.
Mr. Moran?
aye.
Ms. Collier?
Proper
Aye.
protocol,
Mr. Foote.
because like he said, what if there's gas or
That's unanimous.
Thank you.
stored on the facility and you're showing up? in the morning?
Congratulations, Mr. Huffino.
Great.
I hope you're counting
Thank you.
lots and lots of money.
Thank you.
I think
I
we all
appreciate
do.
that. So will I get like something in the mail, with like a permit?
The administrative
something
assistant will
helps?
most likely have that conditional permit by Thursday? Okay?
I'll be doing it on Thursday.
Okay. So the administrative assistant will coordinate and contact you about the best way to receive that. And then if you have any other further questions on carrying out any of the conditions, particularly the life safety permits, he can be a start for that.
Okay.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you so much.
Okay. And Jim, could you make sure that it's in your notes in the minutes, just that we will have a further conversation about home-based businesses and health and safety inspections to the fire department, and what the best way is to approach that?
So noted.
Close the public hearing on that one, and then this next one actually is just, I think you've all gotten the request in writing. Just to get the, Mr. Glenn Schroeder, they're asking for a 90-day extension because of some extenuating circumstances, although nowadays they're almost normal circumstances with COVID. I'm suggesting that we grant that, which is part of our procedures, and with advice from Jen, make it 6 months instead of 3, just so we don't have to come back here. Is there any further? Okay.
No, I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. And just before we vote, this is not we don't take jurisdiction, we don't have anything like that, and I don't even believe Mr. Schroeder is with us tonight. I told him he didn't need to be. Okay, so we have a motion.
seconded?
What's that?
Who seconded? Thank you. Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Ms. Collier?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy?
Aye.
Mr. Foote?
Aye.
Mr. Moran?
Aye.
Mr. Marchand?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Nice, well-written email. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not used to seeing.
Yeah.
And it's nice when the applicants keep up on this and
Right.
request the extensions as that's the requirement.
Yep.
Okay, next in board business, accept the minutes from December 14th, 2021, which was our last meeting. Can I have a motion for that, please?
I'd like to move to accept the minutes of 12/14/21.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, are there any corrections, comments? Hearing none, Jim, call the roll, please.
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Ms. Collier?
Aye.
Mr. Marchand?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy?
Aye.
Mr. Foote?
Aye.
Mr. Moran?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Okay, the next is the NEPR manifest. Motion to pay in the amount of $1,745.90, please.
Second.
This is Barbara, so moved.
Okay, did I get a second?
Larry seconded it.
Doesn't matter.
Hearing no further discussion, Jim, call the roll, please.
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Ms. Collier?
Aye.
Mr. Marchand?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy?
Aye.
Mr. Foote?
Aye.
Mr. Moran?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay. Next on the agenda is request for a non-public meeting. And would you like to
Yeah, I'll make a motion
whole
that
request?
we make a motion that we move into a non-public meeting according to RSA 91A:3. I don't know, is it section 2A?
Okay, to make it legal, I'll have to read after A is the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, or the disciplining of such employee, or the investigation of any charges against him or her, unless the employee affected, 1, has a right to a meeting, and 2, requests that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. And
Mike,
yes,
before you continue, do you want me to stay on or no?
I would like you to, yes.
Okay.
So we have a motion, and do I have a second?
Second.
Okay,
Second for discussion. I don't think Jen can stay on.
She's not a
Why not?
member.
It's non-public. It's just supposed to be the body of the planning board.
So on occasion, I do attend non-public if it's what the board that I'm attending wants me to. That's why I wanted to know beforehand. I'm not asking to stay one way or the other. I'm just asking if you want me here.
So let's, shall we vote on whether we want to have Jen, or just allow the chair to decide, or how do we handle that?
Well, right now, we have a motion to go into non-public, so let's finish that first. So, Jim, if you'd call the roll, please.
Mr. Andrews,
Aye.
Ms. Collier,
Aye.
Mr. Marchand,
Aye.
Ms. White,
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy,
Aye.
Mr. Foote,
Aye.
Mr. Moran.
Aye.
It's unanimous.
You're
Okay.
on.
Red light's on. Okay. How did you word that, Larry? For the,
We just came out in non-public under RSA, blah, 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 reputation. And the minutes will be sealed except for the 3 questions we discussed to go to the select board.
okay, so is that a motion to seal the minutes? Because that requires a vote.
No, yeah, you say that as a somebody has to say as a motion. I'll motion that, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
If I need a second,
Yeah, I can't make the motion.
okay. And then now you take it to a roll call.
I want to know who seconded that, though.
Lavoy, Mark.
Okay. Okay.
Jim's back taking notes, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara. So,
Thanks, Dennis, too.
actually, you're in public, so you can call
Yeah,
the
Dennis.
roll of sealing the minutes.
Who seconded?
I did.
Mr. Andrews,
Aye.
Ms. Collier,
Aye.
Ms. White,
Aye.
Mr. Marchand,
Aye.
Mr. Lavoy,
Aye.
Mr. Foote,
Aye.
Mr. Moran.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Okay.
Okay.
Done. Okay. The last item on the agenda, the other, actually, I had put this in there because I wasn't quite sure what was going on. And then this morning, I had to have a conversation with the attorney at Stephen Buckley at NHMA. And he pretty much, well, he advised me to talk about this. And it's basic conflict of interest stuff. And I'm going to keep it simple. We all, I believe, have the book, whether it's electronic or in paper, the Knowing the Territory. I would ask everybody to please read Chapter 13. That is the one on ethical issues, conflict of interest, incompatibility of office. This other thing, just a quick, this is just a brief overview, but people sometimes have a question about what does that really mean to be, have a conflict of interest or incompatibility. So I'm just going to read from the RSA that he sent me. No member of a planning board, et cetera, shall participate in deciding or shall sit upon the hearing of any question which the board is to decide in a judicial capacity if that member has a direct personal or pecuniary interest in the outcome which differs from the interest of other citizens, or if that member would be disqualified for any cause to act as a juror upon the trial of the same matter in any action of law. And he said, emphasize the juror. And what does that mean? Any juror may be required by the court on motion of a party in the case to be tried to answer upon oath, basically, he's got a conflict. A, expects to gain or lose upon the disposition of the case, is related to either party. This is the one he has advised or assisted either party, has directly or indirectly given his opinion or has formed an opinion, is employed by or employs any party in the case, is prejudiced to any degree regarding the case, or employs any of the counsel appearing in the case in any action then pending in the court. If it appears that any juror is not indifferent, he shall be set aside on that trial. When they say trial, that means on a hearing. So this all pertains to if a applicant comes to us, that's when you would say you have a conflict of interest and step aside, or other board members could call for a vote. It is always up to the actual member whether they step aside. Now, with that, RSA 31104, and quickly, what this is, that's a statute that gives us on this board limited liability protection. So if something we do, something like that, something you say in a public hearing, you're protected from liability. However, if it is shown by an aggrieved party and a butter that you had any of those issues that I just mentioned, that a juror, you lose that liability, and now you are personally liable to be sued. And so, I think that gets my point across, or what the attorney said that I should get across. You, as an individual, are the person who decides if you have a conflict of interest and step aside from a board. However, if you stay on a case, on a hearing, and an aggrieved party says you have a conflict of interest, and it's shown that you do, you can be personally sued sitting on this board. And so, all I can say again is I would review that chapter 13. I think sometimes we look at this and it's like, oh, he emphasized that's a big deal. You are personally liable if something like that happens. Okay. Any questions on that? I don't think we need to get into discussion. That could be that's a whole workshop. But anything from Barbara or Jen as we close
No,
out?
I'm good.
Okay. Anything else to add?
It's a different matter.
Okay.
I haven't been here because the fire department's crazy, it caused COVID. We didn't say pledge allegiance, did we stop doing that?
You didn't, it wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah, I do it, having been in the military, and it's a personal thing. And I actually have had it on the agenda sometimes I don't. So, I'm open to it if anybody has it. I've never liked that's why even when I have it on the agenda, I say into the public, if you so choose, because,
So we should give them the option. We should give them,
well, yes, we can do that. And yes, I didn't,
because we're sitting here because this is the United States of America. It hasn't changed.
no. I take your,
I'd like, if we have to vote on it, I'd like to do something that we bring it back.
I'll add it back to the, agenda.
Okay, for next time?
Thank you.
That's fine. Okay. All right. No other business. I will close the public meeting at 9:06.